I still don't have what it takes. I must train harder. This time, victory is mine.
Hadouken!
This time, victory is mine.
Hadouken! Hadouken!
I still don't have what it takes. I must train harder. This time, victory is mine.
Hadouken!
Victory is mine.
Shinku Hadouken! Shinku Hadouken!
Hey everybody, welcome to Will and Drew's Gaming Retrospective. You are listening to episode 124. It's the week of May 9th, 2021. I'm your host, Drew, and I am joined by, for the first time ever, live from the Hans Gruber Memorial Soundstage, Will! You heard me!
Why is it me? I
God-
know what I said, damn it.
God rest his soul. Will!
Oh my gosh. What an entrance.
Oh man, I was going
I
to
feel
bust...
like I just entered like a memorial soundstage for real.
Well, yeah, man.
Curtains are drawn.
I don't know, like, I wanted to go with, like, Memorial Sound Studio, but, I don't know, Soundstage sounds epic, but it's a bit of a mouthful, so, I don't know, man.
I think it's fitting, the music thing and headphones and there's gear in here. Soundstage sounds kind of cool.
You think so?
I think so, man. I'll go with it. I don't know about the Hans Gruber thing, but I'm kind of rolling with it secretly.
It's fucking Hans Gruber, man. Like,
Yeah.
One of the greatest villains of all time. His name sort of sounds like Hans Zimmer, but it's not Hans Zimmer.
Exactly.
That's where we're going.
Well,
Love
at first I didn't get it, and I was like, you know what, this is probably just like a little twist on Hans Zimmer,
I don't
And
know.
I was like, all right, I'll deal with the Gruber, and then like my last name Grublar, kind of similar.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even think about that.
So I just kind of ran with it, but yeah, man, here I am. I'm in the new apartment. It feels kind of amazing and strange at the same time, and I've got a white sun on the other side of this blind here, but I swear for everybody watching, it's really not that bright.
It looks like a gigantic key light,
Yeah.
Fucking film companies would pay big bucks to have a light like that,
Yeah, they're like, damn, I want his light source. Oh wait, it's just a blind.
Yeah.
It kind of looks like you could project, like a movie on here. Kind of insane.
You probably could. At least from our perspective.
Yeah, but I'm here, man. It's a beautiful room, beautiful apartment. Happy to be here. Happy to be moved in. Thanks to you and your wife for helping.
Yeah, man.
And yeah, I'm excited to do some more decorating in here, and it's coming along quickly. So I'm pleased with the results.
I know you had been looking at some sort of a mural to put behind you. Is that still in the works?
Yeah, I've got a couple beautiful Metal Gear prints on the way from a website called Redbubble.
Okay.
And I think they're 8x11, but I ordered 2, and I didn't want to order all 6 for all of the games because I want to see how they look first.
Right.
And if I like them, I'm probably going to do like maybe 3 behind me and then 3 right over there.
Okay.
So they're kind of staggered, and they'll be at the same level as that print there. So we'll see. But yeah, I definitely need to get some video game art and maybe some more merch in here. And then down below behind me, in this little cube Ikea case thing, I've got some of my art books, the video game art books, and some other stuff down there that's kind of gaming related. But everything's kind of hidden away, so I need to get some stuff out and exposed, and it would be cool to kind of have a nice little backdrop.
You have a Don Draper piece of art as well, too. I suppose we could change the name of the room to that.
The Draper Room. Yeah, I love that show, man. And I saw that print on Etsy, and I've wanted it for a long time, but I just never really had the right kind of place to showcase it. And I was like, you know what? Let's wait till we buy a house or move. And I got a nice large print of it, and it looks great. I'm fascinated with that character, as bad as he is, but as good as he is as well. He's probably one of my favorite characters in any show ever, so he had to go up there.
I've never seen Mad Men. I know Nikki enjoyed it. She watched it well after the show went off the air, and it seemed like something I'd be into. But like when you're watching, or like when your wife's watching a show, and she's already on season 2 because she's binging the shit out of it, and you catch a glimpse of something that looks interesting, and you're like, okay, yeah, I'll get to that someday. And then you just never do.
You just never do. And
yeah,
I think I started on a whim, And I didn't really like it at first, and a lot of people don't because it's kind of a slow burn, especially the first season. So it's not the most accessible show, but it's all about advertising in the 1960s and 70s. And for a lot of folks, it's not very interesting. But what's interesting about the show is the characters and the character development, and I think that's really why I enjoyed it.
Right.
So yeah, that's one that I want to own someday. Blu-ray box set.
Nice. I like it. Well, let's just get some business out of the way first, and then we can dive into our episode, shall we?
Sounds good.
All right, man. So first of all, thank you, everybody, listening. We really appreciate the support. Check us out on the web at www.wdgrpodcast.com. That stands for Will and Drew's Gaming Retrospective. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at WDGR Podcast. Of course, you can find me on Twitter at ScienceStorm. And Will, how can they find you?
SoundCloud.com/Will_gear. New track just released last night.
I have not heard it yet. Didn't have time today, and I apologize because I have these beautiful new speakers that I want to fire them up on. I got these nice pre-Sonos Aris E3.5s, and I just know it's going to sound absolutely beautiful. But I just didn't have time today, man.
I hope so, man. Those things are sharp.
Yeah, they're real nice speakers. I haven't had an opportunity to really put them through the paces yet. I'm looking forward to editing tonight's episode and seeing how it works for that. And then when we record our Patreon episode for June, there tends to be a little bit more sound samples going on in those. So I think that'll be pretty fun hearing how it sounds. But like I've fired up some music through Spotify, and it kicks some serious ass. It's got some nice clarity. It's got some nice bass. I can get it nice and loud and hear it down the hallway, and it doesn't sound muddled. And, not that I'm going to be playing stuff in this room to hear in the kitchen, but it's nice to know that the clarity is there,
Yeah, I got to say, I've always been a fan of Bose, even though they're kind of overrated and overpriced. All of their speakers and all of their technology has always sounded good to me. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I heard one of my bosses at work say, no highs, no lows must be Bose. And I was like, wow, okay, so we're going to trash talk Bose for a little bit. All right.
That's funny.
So it just reminded me of that. Yeah. I thought it was kind of a clever line.
Yeah. I don't know enough about their speakers to say, whether or not that's accurate.
I know, same. I mean, honestly, man, I get the whole thing about them being overpriced and they're not the prettiest looking speakers in the world, and everybody says that, they're kind of crap, but I don't know, man. I've done all the demos in the store, like press the button for demo, and I've heard, stuff in my old Mazda. I had a Bose system. It was like 12 speakers. It was phenomenal. So, and I consider myself a relatively entry-level audiophile. But at the same time, like, who has the money to be spending like 20 G's on like a speaker system for home theater? Not this guy.
Nobody. That's who.
Yeah. No one got it.
Oh man. Let's see here. So what have you been up to, man? We missed last week because we were still moving.
Yeah. Yeah, and we can say we because, like I said earlier on the show, you and your wife, Nikki, helped, and we thank you for that. It was a real pleasure having you guys help out, and it went really smooth, man. I mean, considering we had some issues going up and down the stairs to get to the apartment and dealing with the dressers and going to the wrong U-Haul, it was a fun day, and overall, it just went incredibly smooth. It was an incredibly efficient move. We had the truck fully packed, and with the help of you, we were able to kind of just puzzle everything together.
Tetris,
at one point, at one point I really didn't think it was all going to fit, but we had a 15-foot truck, picked it up early, got here early, and we just kind of went to town, and it was kind of fun sliding the boxes down the conveyor belt of sorts. And then you were talking about how the production line was backed up.
Oh man,
yeah, we did it all in half a day.
Oh yeah, we were done with unloading the truck by 1 o'clock?
I think so.
Maybe
just
earlier?
After lunch.
Maybe earlier?
Might have been earlier.
Because we stopped, we brought the truck back to the wrong U-Haul.
Yes.
And once we figured that out, we went to the right U-Haul. I think we were back at your condo, or your house rather, sometime around 1:30. I don't know, man. It's all.
I wasn't really looking at the time.
Yeah. Yeah, me neither.
We were too busy hanging out and just chatting and stuff. And, you took turns, or we took turns driving the truck. That was kind of fun. And I remember we were making jokes about the dolly just flying around the back of the truck. Because, like, you would hit the brakes or make a turn, you just hear bam. And I was like, what was that? And then we were like, it's the fucking dolly, man. So, yeah, we had fun with that. And we were kind of just making jokes about, like, stuff in the pillow in the pillowcase with the Ikea couch.
Oh my god, that fucking couch, like, it's like taking like a square peg and trying to slam it into a round hole, but it's made out of like Play-Doh and foam.
Yeah, and like weird plastic circles that we were just like, don't need this.
It's just bullshit, man. But I mean, it came together. It looks nice, I think.
Yeah,
how's it? Is it like comfortable?
Honestly, it's great.
Yeah.
I can't wait to go on it. We're on it every night, and we take turns using the chaise and stuff. And it's funny. I was cleaning up some cat toys underneath the couch last night with a Swiffer broom, like just sliding like this, and 20 toys would come out. And I found a little nut, and I got nervous. I was like, "Ooh, where did this come off of?" And I was like, "Well, I guess we'll find out if something breaks." So that's in a kitchen drawer because I can't be bothered to find out where it came from.
Yeah.
But it can't be important because, plastic discs, same category, don't need it. And, yeah, it was just, we had a moment where you were stuffing a pillow inside one of the pillowcases, and Nikki was laughing over on one of the bar stools at the kitchen island. And I just lost it, man. I don't know if I was overtired or what, but you were just aggressively stuffing this pillow into the case. And I was crying. I couldn't even breathe, dude. I was laughing so hard. And then you started laughing. And it was just one of those moments where we were just in sync with laughter. Yeah. And I think we were just exhausted and, just kind of, it's like that same feeling you get when you're overtired and you stay up too late, at a sleepover, and you and your buddies just start giggling. And you're like, maybe it's the Sprite. Maybe we're drunk off of the Sprite, guys.
Who the fuck gets drunk off of Sprite?
I probably said that when I was 15. But yeah, overall, man, great move. Great having you guys helping out. And we're happy to be here. And, it couldn't have gone any better. And we really have not hit any hurdles or roadblocks since. So knock on wood, hopefully it stays that way.
Well, next time they have a food truck up there, let me know. And I'll be right over.
Guess you're coming up every week then.
Shit.
Save up some gas money.
Yeah, man, seriously. So, I mean, with all this moving around and stuff and getting settled, have you had much time to do any gaming at all?
I haven't. I tried a couple times, but it was hard the first few days because we were both so wiped that we had to kind of catch up on sleep and everything. And now that things are kind of, sort of sinking back to normal, I think that I'm going to have a much higher chance tomorrow. Tonight is always tough for Mondays because of the show. And then this past weekend, we celebrated Lauren's grandmother's 90th birthday on Saturday, which was kind of an all-day affair. Okay. And then yesterday was our day to kind of check out the amenities, take a walk around the pond, and just do some cleaning because we hadn't even cleaned the apartment really at all, like a deep cleaning, until yesterday. So that took priority, and then we had lunch, and then before you know it, it's like 9 o'clock. And you're like, shoot, I'm going to do some music, I'm going to do some gaming, and then music turns into making a music track, and then it turns out, you're hanging out on the couch with your wife, and then before you know it, it's 10 o'clock, and you got to be at work the next day. So
we have a question in the chat from Vortex. He wants to know if you're going to play Returnal.
If I can find a PS5, and if somebody wants to buy me one and ship it to me for free, like I asked about. Like I said, small ask. I don't know why no one's really contributing to this. It's only $500 plus tax.
Yeah, pocket change, right?
Yeah, pocket change. It's a penny in the ocean for you guys. So if you guys can help out, then yeah, I'll be playing Returnal. I actually had a buddy at work ask me about it today. I was like, you know what, dude? If I had a PS5, I could probably play it.
In all seriousness, though, I think you probably have an easier time coming up with the $500 than you would have finding an actual PlayStation 5 at this point.
Dude, I've had it in my bank account for months. I'm a paying customer. So if you're listening to this podcast, which I know you never will, because we are a small fish in a big pond right now. But if you are, please make them available. Your boy's got some money in the bank. I'm a Sony fan. Look at all this room I have to play it.
I mean, the PlayStation 5 is at least as large as the back of the room, so
Oh yeah, easily.
you have
know.
perfect room for it.
Yeah. So, I mean, honestly, I've already thought about, is this thing going to fit in our new entertainment system, or like our TV stand? And I think it will. But I am nervous that if I got the physical version, that it may not fit because of those giant shark fins
But
that stick out.
I mean, we've talked about this before, though. Like, what's the plan for the Blu-rays? Because you have Blu-rays that you intend on watching.
I know, and this is why I'm so back and forth about it, because I could keep the PS4 and just use that as like a sort of media machine, and then just have the PS5 digital and just game that way. Or it's the option that I wanted to go for, which is, sell the PS4, just give it away or get rid of it, get the physical PS5, and then I'm golden for gaming for PS4, gaming for PS5, and then, of course, DVDs and Blu-rays.
And Vortex also asks if you're following that stock Twitter. And my experience with all of those is by the time you get the tweet and by the time you get to the store, it's already too late. Even if you have notifications enabled, even if you're signed into whatever store it is and you have like quick checkout ready to go, most of the time it's already too late,
Yeah, it's like I said before, if there's like a stock release that I can learn about and just kind of pull the trigger in more of a normal way without having to set, now in stock alerts and all that kind of jazz, then I'll do it. But I'm not going to go down that hole again of what I did with now in stock, where I set alerts everywhere and I just was literally like a fiend, just constantly checking, refreshing, and I just don't want to play that game.
Yeah.
I don't have time to play that game.
Yeah. I guess it also depends on like whether or not you have easy access to a computer, or if you're working in a place that's cool with that sort of thing, or,
I mean, I probably could, but from memory, I think with now in stock, you have to have like your browser open or something. And I think that's what was causing this sort of eccentric behavior of just constantly refreshing and looking at the screen. And I did that at the last place that we were living in. And I was just like, this isn't healthy.
Yeah. Well, I haven't had too much game time either. Mostly when I have been able to play, it's been just for, half an hour here or half an hour there. Still playing MLB The Show. I feel like that's the kind of game that like I could probably give a review for, because there really isn't a true ending to it. I'm sure like, their story mode probably has an ending. There's Road to the Show, which you bring this guy up through the ranks of from the minor leagues all the way up to the majors, and man, I suck at that mode. Like it's just excruciating, man. Like I hit for garbage. I'm a good pitcher, but that's about it. So I've been playing that. I haven't really played Outriders all that much. I fired it up briefly to check something. They'd put out a patch. There were some issues where people that had been playing for a while lost a bunch of their like top tier guns, and it took a while for the company to restore them, and they weren't able to restore exactly things the way they were. So they just kind of did like a blanket offering depending on how you were affected. I wasn't affected at all, but I still ended up getting like a bonus gun out of the deal. And I logged in just to try that out. And it was the same version of a gun that I've actually already had, just at a lower level. So I'm okay with that. It's fine. I feel bad for the people that, put in a ton of work and maybe lost some of their mods or whatever. But then last night, like I felt like playing a game before bed, and I fired up this game called Narita Boy, which is it's on Game Pass. It's kind of like an indie style game. Very, very retro style. It kind of looks like what would happen if like I'm trying to think of the best way to put it. Like if you took like 5 VHS tapes and just recorded like the best of like, retro new like Outrun style kind of stuff and just played them over each other at the same time, it would have like that kind of like visual look to it. Like there's like the CRT kind of scan filter, like the screen is actually curved, and you can see like the refresh rate of the CRT in this game. And like as your character's running, like depending on what scene you're in, like there's a little bit of like a shadow blur, kind of like the pixels of the CRT are a little out of phase kind of thing. It's just absolutely like gorgeous looking game. But at its core, it's just a side platformer, a very challenging one. But it's been kind of nothing outstanding, I would say. It's good, not great. I think it's probably the best way to put it so far.
Sure.
The story is kind of confusing. And the controls are, they're kind of meh. Like, you have the ability to attack with a sword. You can dodge. There's a gun you can use. And, the game is just like throwing just enemies at you, and you have to figure out their patterns to defeat them. But the story is just a confusing mess so far. It's like you're trying to dive into like the memories of the programmer of a game or something.
I'll tell you one game that actually did something similar in terms of that CRT effect was actually Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, the HD edition that came out for Xbox 360, well, basically last gen. Yeah, there was a mode where you could turn on and it would actually curve the screen, so it was like you were looking into like an arcade cabinet. But I don't know if it had like the scan lines or anything like that.
Yeah, I didn't have an opportunity to get a video prepped for it for the show, but I'm going to talk about it some more next week too. I want to put a little bit more time into it. I've really only played for maybe about 2 hours total.
Okay.
So I think it's something that I want to put a little bit more time into. But to answer Epic Outro's question, what would it look like if played on an actual CRT? I imagine it would look pretty good. There is a mode where you can turn off that filtering, and it's just flat pixels, and it looks good like that too, and it's a little less headache inducing. So, if it's something that you're interested in checking out, I would recommend it. It does have a lot of photosensitivity warnings because there's a ton of flashing on the screen. So just a heads up to anybody that is sensitive to those types of things. It could be problematic for you.
Doesn't that make you nervous when, what's it called, epileptic seizures are something that they, like when they give you the warning about it, they say like you don't know necessarily if you have it. So like you get nervous that maybe I do. So maybe I don't need to play this game, or maybe I shouldn't. So I always get nervous with stuff like that. I'm like, am I going to have one? And am I going to have one alone? And then like froth from the mouth or whatever, and no one's going to know about it.
I mean,
I tend to overthink things, Drew.
You don't need to have an epileptic seizure to froth from the mouth. But
That's true. Probably get bitten by a rabies-induced raccoon.
I mean, I think it's a valid concern, but I mean, I'm not going to say it's not something I ever worry about, but it's not something I think about too often because I've been to countless concerts. I couldn't even tell you how many, where they have strobe lights like crazy. I've been playing video games my entire life, and thankfully I've never had any issues. So I feel confident that I'm okay. But I guess it's the kind of thing that you never know. Like maybe out of the blue you could have an issue.
Yeah, I think there might have been a couple times in my life, maybe when I was with Lauren, where I was like, "Hey, can you like stick around for a little bit?"
Yeah.
Just because I don't want to be alone in this room while I'm playing this flashy game.
Oh my god.
Oh man. And if it makes you feel any better, going back to MLB The Show, I watched something recently. I think it was somebody's review, or it was like something I caught on a podcast. And they were talking about the visuals lacking a little bit. And it made me think about, how you mentioned that as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's a gorgeous looking game, but it looks like it's looked for the past 3 or 4 iterations. I feel like for the next gen systems particularly, they could have stepped it up a notch. And like, there's just one part that sticks out like a sore thumb where there's throughout the entire game, you have announcers talking about what's going on. And they refer to your character by name, and they're talking stats and how well everybody's doing. And then there's this one part where, like, in between innings, the announcers, who are faceless throughout the entire thing, go to like an analyst who is on camera. And like, I don't know what the real woman looks like, because all these people are real. Like, the announcers are real people. I don't know what this woman looks like in real life. But in the game, her lips are all like puffy, like underneath the teeth. You know how like when they have like that just really fake like mouth movement. It's hard to explain, but it's just not right in all the worst ways. And
that's kind of disturbing.
It really is, and for a game that's in 2021, like, I don't know. I don't think that's acceptable, especially when I'm playing on an Xbox Series X. Like, I could maybe justify it on the One X or even the Xbox One or the PlayStation 4, but on the new consoles, and it's a separate version of the game. Like, the download is completely different. It's not even like it's just being up-resed or something, you know?
I think faces are really hard to get right in video games, and so is hair. Like, I don't know if you remember the Tomb Raider reboot that came out, I don't know, back in like 2011 or whatever. I remember they added like hair tessellation physics or whatever to the PC version, and then they did it for the definitive edition for PS4. And it looked great, but then it gives the hair like this effect where it looks like it's floating in space where there's no gravity, so it's kind of like wafty like this all the time.
Okay.
So it looks cool, but it's also still not really that realistic. So I've noticed just when it comes to faces overall, there's very few games that can especially get teeth and mouth movements right. Uncharted 4, not to have a biased opinion, but definitely did it well. But, you know, it's still never perfect. I hope we get to the point where faces can look, you know, extraordinary.
Well, I mean, there's games that certainly do it. You know, Naughty Dog, I think, makes a pretty good case for it with their stuff.
They do.
Even Mass Effect has had pretty good results over the years with their faces. And, you know, looking at like the 360 versions of these games, like, that was impressive, especially for the time. I can only imagine what the remaster is going to look like.
Yeah, I think Heavy Rain did a decent job at faces too.
It wasn't bad. In the chat, Pencilburn notes that Red Dead 2's faces were amazing.
I can agree with that.
So, I mean, there's games out there that do it. I just, I don't know if it's maybe the way the faces are captured in the first place. You know, maybe with something like MLB The Show, where I believe they're doing like a body scan. You know, maybe they just have a blanket animation for that, and however that works with that face model is how it works, and that's the end of that. I don't know.
Do you think we could chalk it up to just like budget issues? Because it always seems like the big AAA games have the best character models, probably because of better mocap technology.
Well, I mean, this is a big AAA game, so.
Well, that's the thing is like, I don't know. Like, is it? Maybe let me rephrase this. Is it for AAA single player games?
I don't know. I mean, maybe, because I mean, you're getting motion capture for, you know, hundreds of players versus 2 or 3. So I mean, that's possible. That's possible.
Yeah, maybe it is a budgetary thing where, like, even though it's a AAA game, they don't get the same budget as they would or Naughty Dog would get for Last of Us 2 or something like that.
But then you would think that they would have some sort of a creative inkling that maybe that shot isn't going to work well. Like, hey, when we cut to the analyst, her face looks like an alien, so maybe we don't go to her. Or just, you know, just do voiceovers like they do for the guys that are doing the play-by-play. Like, there's nothing wrong with that, you know? I digress.
Fair enough.
So, that's what I've been doing, man.
Well, you got your PlayStation shirt on, so I'm pleased to see that.
Well, it's not like I'm biased to Xbox. I'm just biased to Xbox. But
Dude, I mean, I don't want to jump off topic, but I got to hand it to Xbox right now, man. It just seems like they're killing it. And it's pissing me off, not for Xbox. Like, Xbox isn't pissing me off, but it's pissing me off more about Sony, like how they're not dealing with this issue. And I keep hearing so many different reasons as to why there's shortages on the PS5, and I just don't know what to believe anymore.
right.
Because I don't want to sit here and be a Scrooge about it if there's legitimate reasons as to why they can't get these consoles available, because that wouldn't be right.
Well,
But there's got to be something.
I believe the chip shortages are legit. You know,
I've heard about those.
That seems to be an industry issue, not just a PlayStation issue. So, you know, I do believe that they're being impacted by that. But, you know, like, there's just more and more stuff that's been coming out about Sony in the past few months that has just rubbed me the wrong way. And
Same.
like, recently I heard, so as you know, Apple and Epic are in the midst of this lawsuit over Fortnite being on the Apple Store, right? And we talked about this when they first came out with that whole Fortnite 1984 video back last year. I think it was
Yes.
last August. That was a big deal. Well, this has still been going on this entire time, and there's been a lot of dirt dug up in this process talking about the different companies and how they handle things. And at some point or another, I believe it was brought up, and I think it was during this lawsuit, but I'm not 100% sure. Sony charges developers if they want to have crossplay available on their platform, whereas Nintendo and Microsoft do not. So
I was not aware of this.
yeah, apparently it's a real thing, man. So for me, like if I want to play MLB The Show against you on, Xbox to PlayStation, Microsoft is not charging San Diego to do that. Sony is. Well, I mean, it's their studio, so maybe not. Maybe that's a poor example, but Rocket League, I think, would be a good example. The guys at Rocket League are going to have to pay to enable that feature on their game.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of, I think Vortex said it best here. That's a dick move.
It is, and it's hard to ignore these dick moves that seem to be popping up a little bit more and more. And the fact that they kind of had to backpedal on the whole PS Vita, store issue with the digital games, like that was definitely a sign of the times in terms of like actually listening to the fan base and the audience, which is great. But then it's showing like, are they too quick with making these moves, or did they really want to do it? And the only reason they're backpedaling is because they don't want to deal with the backlash.
Right. That's a
But
good
it's concerning,
question.
man. It's concerning that the shortage of the PS5s. I mean, chip shortage or not, the fact that it's May 10th and I can't get one, it's hard to wrap my brain around that one. And I think it is for a lot of fans. I haven't heard anybody that's been in the camp of, Sony's got this, trust in them. I have not heard one person in that camp, if it even exists at all.
Yeah, I mean, I have no reason to have any faith in them.
Dude, it's May 10th.
It's May 10th.
I mean, that's absurd.
Yeah. I mean, Xboxes aren't exactly, piling up on shelves either, though. Vortex and Lost Monkey both had to work for it to get theirs. But it seems like it's attainable, at least.
A little, yeah, definitely more attainable than the PS5.
I just don't understand why all of these companies can't just take a cue. Like, you go on right now on PlayStation.com/Hans Gruber and you say, I want a PS5. And then you give them your credit card number. And then when they have your PS5, they send it to you. Maybe that's in 6 weeks. Maybe that's in 6 months. But at least you'll know you have one. You don't have to play this fucking game.
Mm-hmm. There's not many times in our lifetime where you want to buy something and you can't, because it's so like everything that you like, nothing's free, right? Very, very few things are free. And the one time that you actually want to buy something you can't, those kind of situations don't happen like really ever. And we're dealing with this at like a global scale now. And that's just so unheard of. At least in my lifetime, I've never been in a position where, people have had money, willing and able, and they literally can't even spend it on something that most companies would be like, gimme, gimme, gimme. Sony can't even do that.
Yeah.
So maybe that is really kind of a wake-up call in terms of this really is an issue that they can't control right now because of the chip shortages. So that's, I guess, me giving Sony some credit. But I've yet to really sit down for 2 hours and dive into some of the issues as to why these things are out of stock.
And I think depending on your sources too, you're going to get kind of I don't want to say mixed signals, but maybe not the full story, because if you go to,
how could you?
Right. Well, I mean, if you go to Sony, they're going to say well, it's just high demand. Like, yeah, no shit, it's high demand. If you have one of something and everybody wants it, of course it's high demand. But if there's, something deeper, like, that Panama Canal or Suez Canal issue that we had a couple months ago, maybe that legitimately held up a bunch of shit, or, COVID keeping people out of places that are making these things, or, there's countless reasons, right? I just wish we could just get a clear answer. And if you have a shortage, manage it better. Give people the option to buy these things on a wait list. Like, I remember when I bought my Xbox 360 years ago, right? I pre-ordered it, and when I went to GameStop to pre-order it, they said to me, well, we're already sold out for the launch, but we'll put you on a list, and it's based on who orders next and who orders next, and when it's your turn, we'll call you. I'm like, cool. In April, I got a phone call, and I drove down to GameStop, and I got my Xbox. And I didn't go crazy looking for one in the meantime. It took me to April to get an Xbox 360 when it was released in November. And that's fine.
I think this is a really good point. And if they have the ability to email every single person that has a gamer ID, which they've done in the past, they've done recently, they still do it, then you can update the people that have a PlayStation ID with weekly notifications as to where they're at in the pipeline.
All they have to do. Yeah, I mean, all they have to do is just like give you a survey. Hey, do you want a PS5? Yes or no? You click the button, boom, you're in the list.
Yeah, just do something. It's kind of like when we went to U-Haul to drop off the truck. Remember, the whole system was down. They were doing things to like cater to the customers. You know what? I'll write down your information. We'll call you when the system's back up. That's what Sony needs to do, and I just don't know if they've done anything to the equivalent of that. It's just kind of been like, hey, we're sorry. I think we got one email that was kind of like a, hey, I'm sorry sort of thing. But since then, I don't recall anything else. I personally have gotten, I don't think, anything in my inbox.
So Epic Outro asks, what is to stop scalpers from gaming the waitlist? And there's, I mean, I'm sure they can come up with at least a 5 or 10 different ways. For example, offered only to people who have had active PSN subscriptions for X number of months, or offer it to people who have had PlayStation accounts for X number of years. Offer it to people who have only had a PS3, a PS4, and a PS5, or excuse me, PS3, PS4 with the same gamer tag. Offer it to people that register a unique address. Hell, if you want to get down to it, I'm sure there's like some form of identification you can use, a credit card number, limit it to one credit card or one purchase per credit card number. I mean, there's so many different ways to identify and limit the one per household rule.
Sure.
And they're just not even trying.
No, and there are a lot of like really concrete arguments as to why you don't need a PS5 right now that I've definitely bought into, and a lot of times I'll listen to things like that to make myself feel better,
Right.
for not being able to attain one. But some of those arguments are definitely strong, because there are a lot of reasons to not own one right now. I mean, unless you're a Housemarque fan and you want to play Returnal now, and you want to play like your games in just like a higher resolution that you can already play on PS4. Then there isn't really a strong enough reason to absolutely need one. And then, of course, you have Demon's Souls. But outside of those games, is it really needed right now? I would say no. But it's still the principle. It's the principle of wanting, not being able to buy it, wanting it for the novelty, if anything. And some of the few games that are on it are pretty good. So... still a problem.
Well, Returnal is one of the topics that we were going to discuss tonight, and the reviews in that game have been pretty favorable.
Yes.
For the most part, like, this is, I don't want to say it's the only next gen game that the PlayStation 5 has, but it's one of the only ones.
They're calling it the showcase game right now. They're calling it the game that is actually, like the game that you show off to your friends when your friends come over to check out your PS5. This is the game you fire up. And I can see why. I've seen some compressed, 4K 60 gameplay on YouTube. And of course, even though it's compressed, it does look amazing. Would it look better in person? Probably. But this is a game that is showcasing the platform and the sort of performance really well, with the exception of Ratchet and Clank. A Rift Apart, I think it's called. And I don't know. I think it's enough of a reason to buy it. But I'm hearing that outside of the good reviews, there are these runs that you have to do that are apparently really long. And they can take anywhere from an hour to 3 hours from what I've heard. And if you get interrupted or if you die, I think you have to start it all over again. So there are some frustrations that are quickly coming with Returnal.
Yeah, I mean, the other issue too is like you can place a game in a suspended state, but there's no guarantee that it's going to stay suspended. That ability even on the Xbox, is kind of hit or miss, you know? So it's frustrating to anybody who, you know, might not have that length of time. Like how many times have you sat down to fire up a game and then all of a sudden you have to put the game down for whatever reason? Maybe it's to make dinner, maybe it's to clean up some cat puke, whatever. You have to put the game down and go do something adult before you can come back to it. Now imagine you're 2 hours into a run, you're killing everything, you're getting some great pickups, and all of a sudden you put the game down, you come back and it's gone.
Yeah, or you know, pausing a game in a game like Returnal, it doesn't sound like a game that's really good to pause when you're in the middle of doing one of these runs, because if you come back, you're cold.
Right.
You're not warm anymore. So you come back, maybe you fuck up real quick, and you're like, shit, I'm fucking just rage quitting now. But no, you're right. Games like that are hard to play as an adult unless you have a good window of time, good chunk of time that you can work in. But if you're going to try and squeeze that in after dinner and before bed, and you're dealing with a 2-hour window, you might be in trouble.
Pencil Burn in the chat says Returnal was okay, but I still think Miles Morales is far better. And even the Days Gone PS5 version was just incredible looking. Quote, I'm still looking for that real next-gen game is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think Pencil Burn, to address that statement, I think your best bet is probably Demon Souls or Returnal on PS5 right now. I think those are probably still the only games that are going to showcase that console the best. God of War actually might be a good way to do it. I've heard good things about Days Gone on PS5. And somebody at work told me today that Miles Morales is good, but it's almost like a DLC to the original Spider-Man. Drew, you can probably speak on that. I mean, I know you haven't played Miles Morales, but...
Yeah, I haven't. It doesn't seem like the game is as long from what I've heard. I don't think Killer Siroc's in the chat room, but he's... pretty familiar with Miles Morales. Yeah, he's not in the chat room, so I really can't. I don't feel comfortable speaking on it for sure. But
yeah,
like it's kind of weird because everybody was crazy about playing Miles Morales, and it just came in, and then like a tidal wave, in and then gone, and I feel like that's kind of a shame because I'm sure it was a wonderful game. You know, the first Spider-Man was tremendous. I mean, by far one of the best experiences I've had on the PlayStation platform so far. So I would, if I was able to get my hands on a PS5, that would probably be the first game I'd buy, if not the second.
Yeah, I mean, I think overall, again, to kind of bring up Pencil Burn's point, I don't think there is a game right now that people are absolutely running to the store to purchase that is mind-blowingly next-gen. We're not there yet. We'll get there. I'm sure there'll be something that'll pop up this year. Probably a handful of things. But right now, it's like, you know, people are just at home firing up God of War, and they're just like, you know, look how good this looks on my PS5. It's upscaled. And that's great. But I think we need something soon. We need something in the next couple months that's going to kind of reignite both consoles to kind of regenerate that hype that we had when they were being showcased before release.
One thing that kind of came to mind too as we were talking about this is, for you specifically, with the PlayStation 5, you don't own any 4K TVs, do you?
Do not. Actually, I do. It's in the bedroom, but you know, what am I going to do? You know, bring my PS5 in there, play in the end of my bed like a 14-year-old.
I mean,
I could. I thought about it. Like when I won that TV, which was free from my last job, I remember approaching you and I was like, you know what, dude? I think this is like 43 inches. I don't know if it's going to cut it, but it is 4K. And it was just too small to game on. But I'd be interested to hook up. Well, I can't. I can't hook up the PS4 to it because I don't have a Pro. So I guess when I get a PS5, I could probably test it on that.
Not true. Not true. The base PlayStation 4 will take advantage of HDR.
That's right.
Because I have noticed a very strong difference between playing the PlayStation 4 on my 1080p television versus my 4K with HDR TV. And yes, it's not a 4K picture, but it does tap into that HDR, and that does make a difference.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I don't know if I'm going to be really enjoying 4K gaming when I get a PS5 because I don't plan on upgrading my TV yet. It's just too nice still.
But
I'd love to, but
you're handicapping yourself.
I know I am.
Like,
I know I am.
I'm not saying you have to buy one like day one. Like, that's expensive, right? Like, let's be completely honest here. If you bought a PlayStation 5 and a 4K TV, and you're
That's a conversation that's going to happen before and probably after with your partner.
Yeah. You know, like every TV that I've ever bought since I've been with Nikki, like we've talked about that. So
yeah, you don't just go out and buy that and come home with it.
Yeah.
And not in most marriages, that is.
Correct. But I do think that, you know, if you would be limiting yourself. And I'm not saying that like you may sit down and hook the PlayStation up to your existing television and say, wow, this looks great. And I'm sure it will, but you're never going to know what you're missing.
You're absolutely right. I am aware, and it's something that I've been thinking about on and off because I'm like, man, I'm kind of in this pickle where my TV's great. It's not, on its last leg or anything. It was expensive. 4K TVs are not really that expensive, so I probably could just get the same size or maybe a 65 for $700-800 if I wanted to splurge a little bit above like sort of entry level. It's just something that I have to think about, and I guess in some ways, as much as I don't want it to happen, the only way I could justify it, at least soon, is if my TV were to break, because then I could just make an easy case for it and be like, you know what, honey, our main TV is gone, so 4K it is. But I just don't know if that's going to happen, and I don't know how I'm going to, justify the 4K TV. I mean, I probably could. I could probably make a good case for it, but I think what I'll do is, like, when I get a PS5, we're going to see how it looks. And if I'm not really getting that sort of next-gen quality that I was expecting, then that conversation and that purchase idea will come into play.
Just for shits and giggles, I'm on Best Buy, looking at some of the TVs here.
You're pulling a Vic.
Well, I wanted to see if I could find my model, and granted, the one that I have is 2 years old now, and they don't have it, of course. But I mean, like, there's 65-inch Samsungs for $750. Now, I don't know anything about it. I haven't looked it up on Ardings.com or anything like that. But I mean, I think the price is dropping, and the other thing is, like, you can look at the LG TVs too, because those are going to be more geared towards the 120 hertz as well. So, I mean, you can easily spend a lot of money on this if you want to get that. If you want to get the 120 frames per second, that's the way to go.
That's too funny. I mean, you could be looking at 600, but at the same time, you could be spending a lot of money.
Right.
Man, that's great. Yeah, and knowing me, like, I'm not really an entry-level guy. I generally like to go middle to high with most electronics. And knowing me, yeah, exactly. Epic Outro says Sony Bravia X. I love Sony TVs. The Sony Bravia that I have now is just absolutely stunning. So I would probably go with another Bravia, and those are not exactly cheap. So we'll see.
All right. Well, what's next on the docket for tonight, man?
Let's see.
We're kind of all over the place. But...
We are a little bit, but that's all right.
Yeah.
So you acquired a couple things, and I really want to hear about these two things that you acquired.
Well, one of them is, pre-ordered. That would be the Doom Classic Edition from Limited Run for an absurd amount of money. Makes me sad that I actually did it.
What justifies the money here? Like, what comes with this thing?
Oh, hold on a second.
Excuse me.
I have a note in here, actually. In Trello, it says, Drew buys Doom Classic from Limited Run for $150 fucking dollars because he is a consumer whore.
I actually laughed out loud at that at work today.
So the Switch Limited Run, I bought it for Switch, but it also is available for PS4. And it's $130 plus tax and shipping, so it ends up being about $150. And I bought this the morning of your move before I came up to help you out.
Oh, you animal.
Yeah.
And that was, so you should tell the viewers and the listeners here what time that was that you made that purchase.
It was like 4, I mean, I can Give me a second. I will let you know.
Oh my God, it's earlier than I thought. It's earlier than I thought. I thought you were gonna say like 6:30, but it was 4 something.
Let's see here. Limited run games. Order confirmed. Oh yeah, this is it. 5:48 a.m.
Oh my God, that is true fandom right there.
Well, you know what it was? I was waiting for the budget to roll over for May.
And now.
So, comes with a copy of the game on Switch. It's Doom 2, and Doom 3, which I already own digitally for the Switch and the Xbox One and the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation and the computer.
Oh my.
Plus,
that's like most folks with Skyrim.
Yes,
You know,
this is
everybody bought that game 8 times.
This is my Skyrim.
This is your Skyrim. Or your Resident Evil 4. Dave can attest to how many releases we have there. There's, I think, 14, Dave, is it?
Oh my God.
I'm joking.
So, we have, comes with the game, comes with a full color manual, because that's not guaranteed these days. A premium die-cut windowed box, a detailed shadow box featuring activated LED lights and sound. When activated, the shadow box plays the iconic E1 M1 music. For anybody that doesn't know, that is the song of Doom. You know, the
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even have to go any further. You know.
Nope.
It comes
Even
with,
I know that.
Yeah. It comes with a reversible cover sheet, which is something the limited run often does. You can flip the cover art around. It comes with, apparently they're issuing red metal keycard replicas. I thought you were going to get like randomly either red or yellow or blue. I guess it's just red.
Mm-hmm.
Comes with a Nintendo Switch style size steel book, an 8 gigabyte Doom shareware disc USB drive, but the drive will be empty for some reason. That's disappointing. Also comes with a marine helmet PVC keychain, 3 9x6 art prints, and a reprint of the original 1996 16-page Doom comic book, originally sold in the ID Anthology box set.
That's not a bad package, my friend.
It's a lot of stuff that I don't need and already have. Well, all right. I don't have any of the bonus stuff. Let me put it that way. I already have the game, so I'm literally buying this just for the cool stuff.
Well, look, I mean, you're a huge fan.
Yes.
I'm trying really hard to justify this purchase.
Well,
you're a huge fan. That's twice now.
Yep.
And even though you have a lot of this stuff, when you're a huge fan, you have a lot of stuff.
So fun fact, Epic Outro, big fan of the show. He and I worked together. And every morning I would come into work and he'd say, "So Drew, are you going to buy Doom?"
Oh God.
Every day, Will.
You know what? That sounds like Dave.
Single.
Sounds like Dave. He would do that. He would do that. And he would do it like nonchalantly too.
I mean,
hey, you gonna buy it? Or?
I mean, yeah, like I'd be in the middle of going through my checks in the morning and you know, getting ready for the day and be like, "So Drew, have you made a decision about Doom yet?" And I'd be like, "Dave, I don't know."
Yeah, I don't know. You're stressing me out.
I don't know, man. Like I really got I got shit I got to buy. Like I want to get these speakers. I want to do this. I got, you know, I want to buy some stocks, whatever. Yeah. It's like, yeah, but Drew, it's Doom. Yeah, like Palpatine luring Luke to the dark side. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you guys were doing this shit back in bathroom stalls forever ago. So, you know, to be fair, this legacy must live on.
Oh my God. So, I also bought this.
Dude, I love that thing, man, because I'm a big N64 guy.
That
was the test. The bomb test.
That fucking hurts, bro. I tell you.
Thing's made of just like bronze.
It is
solid bronze.
So here's the original. It is a 1-to-1 scale. So I give them huge props to the attention to detail. Unfortunately, there is nothing inside here. Now, I'm sure somebody who's more clever than me has figured out a way to pry this open and probably fit the game inside it. I've also heard that by putting metal inside your system against the other contacts, it's probably not a good time. So don't do that.
Maybe you could fit like a Kit Kat bar in there. Just a Kit Kat stick.
What the fuck?
That is the first thing that came to my mind is what would fit in that crevice. I was like, Q-tips, nail clippings.
Check this out. I got a cool little Cyber Demon foil card
That's
for
awesome.
to run. Data Dive is calling me Doom Guy Drew. I like it. Doom Guy Drew. I got my copy of the game, which is still sealed. I haven't opened it up yet.
Wonderful.
And it does come in an N64 box, by the way.
Ooh, it is
is
sharp.
shiny, sexy. It's all reversed because my webcam doesn't flip. Fucking Discord. I got posters. You want to see some 1990s art here, man?
Yeah.
Oh boy, here we go.
Yeah.
What would fit in that crevice, Vortex? What would fit in that crevice? Look at that. This is never going on my wall.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you better not hang that, dude. You hang that when you're 15. You don't hang that when you're 30-something.
Exactly. This is going to stay folded up. You see these folds? Nice and crispy? That's how they're staying.
Oh, yeah.
And
That stays tucked away.
and a behind-the-scenes booklet. So I will say, like, limited run, like, they can be expensive. They do tend to overcharge, but they make a nice product. And I've been very happy with the stuff that I've gotten from them recently.
They do, man. And I've done very little research on Limited Run. I've only been exposed to what you and some of the rest of the Discord guys have been sharing. Joe and Dave, I think the three of you guys have really participated in a lot of their runs, no pun intended. And I think what they're putting out looks good, man. I like the whole concept of it.
In the chat room, Dave is reminding me of a poster that he purchased for me. Quote, remember when you got you that poster of a bare-assed Harry Dresden? Yes, Dave, I do.
It's not often that you hear bare-assed. It's like assless chaps. You know?
I mean, all chaps are assless, so.
It's true. Just love how he goes, you need to hang that shit. Where's this item located?
The bare-assed Harry Dresden?
Yeah.
It's in probably one of the 2 or 3 poster tubes that I have in my closet right now.
Keep it there. Keep it there, sir. Anything with bare-assed in the sentence needs to be kept away.
Oh my god.
Harry Dresden.
Yeah,
That's
it's
almost as good as Fly Taggart. Is it Flynn? Is it Flynn or Fly?
Yes.
What do you mean, yes?
His name
it's both?
it's like Andrew is to Drew, like my proper.
Oh, yeah. Flynn, Fly. Yeah.
Right.
Fair enough.
Man.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm still laughing at Dave's limited run pickup. That was hilarious, Dave. You know what I'm talking about.
The night trap.
Yes, that was one of the funniest reactions I've probably ever seen in a video.
If you ever wanted to hear Dave go from being 37 or 38 to immediately 14,
That's the way to do it, man. That is your golden ticket there.
Oh goodness, I could hear his voice shaking with excitement.
Yes, and like even his hand was just like, like he just wanted to be like, oh my god.
Oh goodness! So make sure you check out Unboxer of Worlds on YouTube and on Twitter. If you guys,
Great channel.
Yes, a wonderful channel, and definitely worth your time, especially if you like unboxing videos, but particularly if you like unboxing videos with cute puppies in them.
Yeah, yeah, and the knife always makes an appearance, which is kind of cool. Mm-hmm. The unboxing knife.
What else we got tonight, Will?
Well, let's see here. Why don't we round it off with one final topic? Well, we have game dev workloads, or we can talk about assembling the perfect game room.
I don't feel like talking about anything serious, man. Let's talk.
Same. I don't want to talk about it either, man. We've talked about it before, and we'll get there another time.
Yeah.
I think,
All right.
Now, at 7:34, it's not the time for that.
Yeah, so you essentially have a blank canvas behind you. You know,
I do.
Don Draper doesn't count. Your Sakuhachi doesn't count. You have a
No.
blank canvas.
Yes.
What are your goals for this room? What is going to make this the perfect setup for you?
I think besides the art, I am considering those corner shelves that you offered very kindly to me. I just have to figure out what I would like to place on them.
Okay.
So that's a possibility. Outside of those two things, you had me thinking about making this a little bit of a game room as well. So originally it was just going to be for music, podcasting, reading, writing, art, that kind of thing. Just a general like man cave sort of office thing.
Right.
But now I'm thinking that since there's way more space in here than I really thought based on photos, I could easily set up like a small little TV, like I don't know, like even a 40-inch would probably fit in here, no problem. I could wall mount it in a corner. I could put it on on just one of the flat walls on a little TV stand and just create like a little gaming station somewhere.
Vic is right, by the way. X-Men versus Street Fighter arcade cab would fit perfectly right behind you.
I could fit probably 4 of them in this room.
Yeah.
Doesn't look that big on camera, but when you're in here, I mean, you've been in here.
Yeah.
The walls are big. The room is actually quite sizable. So I think I could get a cabinet in here, or I could do, like I said, some sort of gaming corner.
So I have a bit of a confession, right? Because like I know you're very minimalist in your style, and
Yes.
when you brought in all the furniture and everything, and we still had it in boxes, it's like, oh yeah, this is gonna flesh out really cool, right? And then you sent me photos of the finished room, and my reaction was, that's it. Like you have,
I said that to myself.
because you have like this beautiful piece of furniture. I guess it's supposed to be for like amplifier for a stereo system, right? The one that you
technically, yes. Yeah.
So you have like some books in there and some other stuff, but it's a nice piece of furniture, and I think the height is fine. But the problem is it's about yay wide. So you have this 4 foot, no, not even 4 foot, 3 foot wide piece of furniture.
Not even.
Not
It's
even.
like a 1.5 foot.
Foot and a half. All right. So I'm like, I don't know measurements. Fucking A. 1.5 foot wide piece of furniture on a 15-foot wall.
Oh, it's huge. It's so funny you brought this up, and I'm glad you did, because I have been well aware of this, and as clean as this room looks, it looks like there's nothing in it.
Well, yeah.
And when I put everything in, I was like, wow, this is not filled up like I imagined it to be. So I think I really have a lot of work to do in here to get some of these areas filled up. And it's not for the sake of filling them up. It's also because I want to. So
Right.
It'll be interesting. And it's going to be a nice little fun project for me over the next few months in terms of how I'm going to get this room a little bit more occupied, if you will. But yeah, no, you're right, man. I think I need to get some more things in.
Yeah, I mean, it's not so much for the sake of having more things. It's just for the sake of making the room look like it's lived in.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because I know that you don't want more stuff, but if you pick out the right furniture, it won't be stuff. It will be part of a whole. It'll be decoration. It'll be function. You
100%.
absolutely have room in there, if you'd
Yes.
like, for a television and a small love seat or a gaming chair or something, like maybe like
The love seat's happening.
yeah, I think that would be a major change in the right direction for you. Just personally, in my opinion,
No, I'm with you, man. Because eventually I'm going to have people come over and hang out, and right now you can't really hang out in this room.
No.
It's more just like you walk in, you're just like, wow, it's beautifully minimalistic, clean, neat. And there's one chair. There's one chair for you and none for me. So I guess I'm standing. And there's no TV. I guess I could pick up a book and put it back after, going like this a couple times. 'Cause
Yep.
that's what people do with other people's books.
Which
And-
chair do you have in there?
I have my beautiful Tempur-Pedic leather chair behind me. It's a little bit dark, but it's right here.
Oh, your office chair.
Yep, I have my
Okay.
office chair in here.
What
but yeah,
happens?
right-
What happens to that IKEA chair that you guys used to have with the
The little ottoman that came with it?
yeah?
I got rid of that because it actually was uncomfortable after a while. I had a good run with it though. I really used it. Like it was used. Like by the time that we put it in a garbage pile, it was on its way out. So
Gotcha.
it got its money worth, or I got my money's worth out of it. But the way that it was designed, folks that don't know, I'm 6'4". My thighs are incredibly long. So when I sit in a normal chair, a lot of my leg is still hanging off the end part of the cushion. Drew, you could probably relate. You're pretty tall yourself. So the couch that we put together is perfect because the seat cushions are deep.
Right.
So, and same with this chair. But yeah, if I put a love seat in here, which we are going to do with maybe like a sleeper that's built in or something, so
good
people
idea.
can crash here, I'm going to get something that's got some deep cushions, and then people can hang out. We can do some gaming in here, and just have it be a little bit more man cavey. Because right now it's very just almost too pristine, too minimal. It's right for me right now, but only for me, and I want it to be right for other people as well.
You should get that LG, mount that on the wall, get your PS5. Lauren doesn't have to know. She never goes in there.
Yeah, I mean, I could even turn it into like a PS4, PS3 room, and then have the PS4 or the PS5 out in the living room. But at least there'll be a couple gaming systems in here for entertainment. And, you know, if you wanted to come over for the day and we're just doing some like guy stuff, you know, you could sit down on the couch and it would be very similar to your room. I won't have a GameStop behind me. That's the only difference.
It's nice having like an alternate place to fire up games, especially when you have like cross save available to you.
Yes.
You know, so I don't know how that works functionally from the PlayStation 4 to the PlayStation 5, if it does. But if you're able to get yourself in that situation where you can take a game like God of War, which is a PS4 game, play it on the PS5, save your game, and then like Lauren's watching TV or something, or maybe you just want to be in your room because, God damn it, why not, right?
Sure.
And you just fire it up and pick up where you left off. And sure, it's not going to look as pretty. Sure, it's not going to be as fast, but it's still the same fucking game. And it still works, you know. I've been bouncing back and forth between the Series X and the One X for months, and it's been a wonderful experience being able to do that.
To be able to go into a smaller room and close the door and play a game, nothing beats that. And there's a time and place for that. And I think every gamer can appreciate that atmosphere, because sometimes you don't want to be in a big spacious living room playing a cozy RPG. You want to do that in a room like this. And you want to do it with the door closed, just so you can like be a dude and just like play your game and, you know, just have some peace and quiet. That's all.
That's it. Well, I think that brings us to the end of our episode at this point.
I think it does, my friend.
So before we wrap things up, we have some thank yous to say real quick, don't we?
We certainly do.
Thank you to everybody who has subscribed to the Patreon thus far. This is your weekly shout out. So,
yes, it is. Thank you very much.
Will, would you like to take it away?
Sure. Let me just pull up our little note here. So we want to give a Patreon shout out to our Patreons, Keith Zallinger. I don't know if I said that correctly, so apologies in advance. Nick Naylor and Mr. Shannon Willis.
So thank you, everybody, for taking the time to subscribe. We really appreciate you guys are helping support the podcast. If you want to join the Patreon and check out May's offering a detailed review of the classic Street Fighter from 1994. There's the bicep. Give me that one more time, Will. Give me that bicep one more. Yes, look at that.
Except he didn't have his tongue out. That was just instinctual.
Head on over to patreon.com/WDGR podcast. $5 a month gets you access to one episode each week, or excuse me, one episode each month. Excuse me. Boy, that would be a lot of work.
Yes, it would.
An episode each month covering a video game movie. We're going to do Mortal Kombat for June. The new one, the 2021 release. So I think that's going to be a lot of fun. You also get access to behind the scenes footage, whether it's video, photos, notes, whatever, and access to a Discord room exclusive to Patreons. So if you are a Patreon subscriber and you haven't already linked up your Discord profile to Patreon, please do so. We have a patron exclusive Discord room set up in the existing chat. Outside of that, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at WDGR Podcast. You can find us on the web at www.wdgrpodcast.com. Will, how can they find you?
SoundCloud.com/Will_gear.
And you can find me on Twitter at ScionStorm. And next week, I look forward to seeing more updates from the Hans Gruber Memorial Soundstage.
We should make a goal and have like weekly updates in here. Like there needs to be something added every week.
I'm looking to get you a plaque for the wall.
Something, man.
No, like it's something that says like Hans Gruber Memorial or something.
Oh, Jesus Christ. The nightmare is real.
Oh, goodness. Anyway, that's going to do it for us, folks. Thank you so much for listening. Thanks for tuning into the Twitch stream, everybody. We appreciate it. We will see you next week.
Thank you all.